Welcome to This Week in West Hempstead, sponsored by Spiegel Law PC, 516-873-1683, Tiffany Dry Cleaners, and Reister's Bakery. Here are your hosts, David and Norm. Take it away, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Dan. And Norm, we made it to Friday.
It was close.
Yeah, it's it's been a little nutty, but we made it. It's been a real big busy week. We'll start off talking about they had the school budget meeting earlier this week where they kind of like lock in the budget. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, but I kind of went through some of the video that they post up on the West Hempstead School District site. And no surprises, the budget, we talked about the budget before, and the budget's the budget, and they are dipping into the reserves, but it sounds like in general things are, being worked out.
The big concern for me is the reserve fund. They're down under $2 million now. I think that almost every single educational association on the Long Island, private and public, are underwater.
Yeah,
they're not meeting. They're past their reserves. They're laying off teachers. They're closing schools. It's a problem, and state funding is probably the answer, but it's not coming from the federal government.
Federal government. There is no federal education department, right? Didn't that get blown up?
Very nearly. I mean, it did make social media this week. I don't know if you guys noticed. Somebody in one of the Facebook groups did raise it. And look, when we started talking about this is 3 years ago, whatever it was, the reserve fund was, I think, 17 million, something like that. We're down to 2, but as you say, compared to some districts, like 2 million is a bonus at this point.
Yeah, I saw that thread on Facebook. They were talking about layoffs with the teachers, but I didn't really see anything else, besides this thread, and I wasn't so that's one of the reasons why I went through the budget meeting to see stuff or see that they announced that there were layoffs.
There are a couple of educational places that are laying off dozens and dozens. So it's going to impact across the island.
And what the one thread that I saw people were raising was like, oh my God, 16% increase in transportation. But we've been talking about this for weeks already, and we knew it was coming. This is just what we're facing. I don't have an answer beyond we have to have a school budget, and it's going to be higher because costs just keep going up.
Yeah, it's busing is busing. Again, we've beaten that subject to death, and it's not gonna change, and it's only gonna get worse.
We get like $1 million of state aid as an increase, but that's not enough.
No.
And we're still beating it. Once we're into the reserves, you have a year or two to be able to do this. You can't do this forever.
Right, but here's the problem.
We're running out.
But transportation is a state mandate also, so you do have to provide this to private schools, and then you got the whole charter school issue floating around as well. So again, I think they're hanging on by a thread. The bigger questions that I have is the number enrollment is the numbers going up or is it going down? What are the big capital expenditures that that we're looking at? What's happening with the lawsuit that that we've spoken about in the past in Cornwall? So there's a lot of stuff, but it's not like happy days are here again. I mean,
I'm actually curious.
It's as simple as that.
Do they have a commitment from the state for the amount that they've budgeted for? I mean, is it? They just did the budget.
I think it is locked in by. I think it is. I don't want to say it is or isn't, and then people post saying, "Oh, you."
Well, that's one of the questions we'll have for Karen.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do see from your list here that there's actually, because when we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, there was no seat changes on the board. Looks like David Lazar is in fact not going to run for re-election.
Yeah, that one. Again,
a little bit of a surprise.
I haven't really been focused on the school board, on the budget stuff again because it's been. Just been unremarkable. And so I saw something in the Herald. First I saw a post in the official West Hempstead Facebook pages where they always have some really good stuff. And this guy, George Demanis, had put a post that he's running that he's running, which I thought was strange, only because I had heard that. I think we had talked about this the other week.
That nobody was running.
Or everyone was running
contested
unopposed.
Seats anyway.
And again, according to the Herald, they said that Trustee David Lazar's seat is being vacated, or he's not running for that seat. And then you got the new guy, and sounds like he's very community.
He's a former Coast Guard member,
oriented, and
he turned on to becoming part of the education system. Great,
yeah.
Terrific.
So two other quick items just before we get off of the budgets. Number one, they had a teacher appreciation week. And they recognized the retirement of longtime staff members Maria D'Angelo and Amy Rogan. So we always like to celebrate, teachers that have, just done amazing stuff. And again, as much as, we talk about the budgets and all that stuff, the graduation rate for the schools is, really high, and all this stuff is,
kids are doing well.
They put out, just great graduates and great kids. So. Wow, we're all over the place. The other quick item is that the proposed library budget went up to $5.15 million, and it was $4.9 million. And
does that include your late fees?
Oh yeah, well they did factor that in, and making
by credit card, I bet.
No way.
They was like, but they did take my picture off of the most wanted. Again, so no surprises. It seems so it's gone up. 250,000. Again, not great, but sounds reasonable. They talked about ongoing HVAC problems, and they're looking to secure funds through Laura Gillen's office.
Yeah, well, those things are major systems, and they cost a lot of money, and you have to replace them every 20, 30 years, or else suffer the consequences. So it's time to start looking for the money.
So here's my problem. And I have a lot of problems. God knows. I mean,
Thanks for saving me from having to say that.
We could be here all day.
What is this, Festivus today?
Yeah, so I go to the library, and I wanted to go take out a book. Wanted to go get a new book. And now, first of all, I didn't find anything. So it is what it is. And I just, but then I we talk about the monies, just keep going up and all that stuff. And again, they provide great services, but I look at the main floor, right? And half of the main floor, and I'm exaggerating, but half of the main floor is full of these CDs and digital
the old stuff
things that no one, we've been talking about this forever, and it's like, haha, you got Blu-ray, you got this, you got that. No one even has CD players anymore. They're just a relic. They're going away like.
So it's interesting to know,
like rotary phones.
Are they lending any of it?
I have no idea.
Well, we should find that out.
But they have to support it, and I'd rather that they put crap in these shelves that people want to actually take out. Instead of physical digital assets. It's just
I will say on the movies front, I think the movies are still very popular.
With whom?
Lots of people who don't want to spend $18.
Who has DVD players?
People who don't want to spend $18 a month for Netflix.
Oh my God!
And there are people out there who feel that way. The CDs, I'm kind of with you on.
All right, but give me numbers. Give me percentages.
You know what? Let's call Owen Rumelt.
No, but is it 10%? Is it 90%? It's like, I think to Norm's point, how many people are renting these CDs, DVDs, audio books? How many cars that are shipped today even have CD players in them?
Okay, let me call one thing out though.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, go ahead.
They could be spending all kinds of money on new books. But a lot of people aren't reading physical books anymore. So the question that you should be asking.
Here we go.
To get rid of the digital. Now what do you do?
Let's go back.
Let's get rid of all digital and all physical books on the main floor.
Let's close the library. No, the question I think is worth asking, and we should be chasing.
Just have the two conas silence and throw everything else to hell out of it.
No.
And the library of things. Just make it a whole thing of things.
David wants a phone booth left. That's all he's looking for.
No.
I think the question that's worth asking.
I want large print books all over.
We should be asking is is what's the digital usage? People have the Libby. I use stuff like that all the time, but I also use the physical books. What are people doing? And you know what? If we're curious enough, let's go to a library board meeting and let's find out.
You know, that's the real bottom line. You know, they just had a board meeting. We as an Echo team have really not participated in these meetings.
Not in a long time.
And asked questions. And I go on my, you know, silly rants and all that stuff. And again, I love the library, but, you know, again, I got to fill up a podcast.
We're doing okay so far, I got to tell you.
But at the end of the day, you know, if you don't say anything, how do you expect them to, you know, to react? I mean, it's great that we talk and maybe, you know, a couple of people from the library, you know, watch us and whatever, but you got to be at the meetings. You got to be involved in the process.
Let's get to the important questions. What's the status of the quail eggs?
Quail eggs, so I checked in on them, and at least the ones that I were looking at didn't hatch, but I don't know. You know, it's been like 2 weeks since I was at the library, so maybe like
another week or
some
two
hatched. But again, that's the coolest thing ever.
I'll take out a quail.
Maybe 11 minutes.
How long can you check it out for?
You got to return it.
Maybe 11 minutes, and we should go to a commercial. What do you think?
Sit on it.
Yeah, let's take a break.
Maybe we'll go to commercial 11 minutes into this nonsense.
All right.
Hi, I'm Jeff Wenger, owner and operator of Tiffany Dry Cleaners. We've made things even easier. Schedule a cleaning pickup just with one click on our new app or website. And don't forget, we offer free pickup, delivery right to your door. Tiffany Dry Cleaners gets it just right.
All right, and we're back. And the
railroads go up for a major stop, right?
Yeah, there could be a strike as early as May 16th if contract negotiations with the MTA fail. You know, it could impact 300,000 daily riders.
So what happens then?
It seems like who the hell knows? I mean,
do they provide buses?
They always say that, like, you know, there's always some press release saying that the MTA will provide buses. No one ever can find a bus, you know, that's going to take you from, you know, a major train terminal to wherever you need to go.
They'll tell you to get to Valley Stream and then you're on your own.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is a good question. I mean, for those, for example, who go to Hempstead Gardens and they go into the city, and now there's a strike, what do you do? You know,
so I got to go in twice next week, and thankfully it's all before the 16th, so hopefully I'll be okay. I will tell you this. I tried taking the buses, forget about outside of Long Island. I tried taking a bus from West Hempstead to when I used to work up in Great Neck, and it was an hour and a half to get there.
Yeah.
So even with the express buses up Hempstead Avenue going down to the Jamaica Station, is that going to help you? You're going to get on a subway then? You're probably looking at you know, what was an hour to an hour and a quarter commute up to 2 hours here easily. It'll be insane.
Yeah. I guess the bottom line is either you drive in and, you know, deal with all the costs and all the hassle, or you find a way to make your way into Queens.
Grab the subway.
From Queens, grab the subway. So,
then
run for your life. No, sorry.
I think the union's looking for 5%. The MTA is offering 3%. They're close. They'll meet in the middle somewhere, and this won't happen. I can't see it happening.
I will tell you this. A couple of years ago, just for my own curiosity, I took a look at the costs. The cost for personnel between pensions and salaries is something like 2/3 of the MTA's budget. And again, I have no problem with people getting paid. But on the flip side, we're paying more for service that's worse. I don't understand what's going to go on here.
Yeah, it's always a problem. And, you know, News 12 always used to do a story on the MTA and the benefits and all that stuff. And you know, they got some good deals there. And there's always been cases of, you know, isolated fraud and all that other kind of stuff.
Maybe not so isolated. But.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah.
But here's the other thing. So, you know, screw the trains and the buses and the planes. Why don't you get to the city on an e-bike? I mean, you know, those things seem to be, you know, all over the place. And you know, you open up your car door and you gotta look out, you know, and you cross the sidewalk, you know, you don't get knocked over.
I've seen them in town.
It's a problem. And, you know, I think Nassau County has been trying to get its hands around this whole e-bike thing. I think
it seems like a simple thing. You hit somebody with an e-bike, they're going to the hospital for a good stay. I think it needs to be regulated. I think you should at least have them registered.
Well, I think that's part of the thing. There was a recent Nassau County police social media post referenced an apparent ban on Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes and e-scooters on county roadways and public property. And that sort of seemed to spark a whole debate about, all these things. And, here's the bottom line. Some of these e-scooters are pretty big and they can go fast. And, they don't seem to, feel that they need to observe, lights and
in the city, it's like every man for himself.
And but then I throw the question to you because
I was going to say, do you want me ranting a little bit?
Yeah, good. Yeah, because you're a biker, not an e-biker.
I am a biker, and listen, I'm okay with people having e-bikes. It's fine. I know, especially for older people, where maybe you can't necessarily.
Wimps.
Well, listen, e-assist, whatever.
Yeah.
The problem to me really comes down to these things are vehicles. Mm-hmm. They're not bicycles. Listen, if you get hit with a bicycle, it's also going to be bad for you. But if these people are doing 25 or 30, which a lot of them will do, yeah, you're going to end up in the hospital. We got a story here of somebody who got killed. I think he was riding
it was a 14-year-old, and But here's the thing: when we were younger, back in the days of black and white.
Banana seats on the bike with the flag at the back.
Yeah, but we also learned, you ride with traffic and you obey the signs and you kind of.
How long have you been ranting about drivers? You've been ranting about drivers not paying attention. You want speed bumps. The same thing is entirely true for people on these e-bikes. 100% true that these people are not conscious of what's going on around them. They got headphones on, noise canceling headphones, so they don't hear the traffic. And Norm's right. It's absolutely Frogger in Manhattan now if you try and go, because these guys are just not paying attention.
Yeah, and also the speeding. I mean, that's their livelihood, right? They've got to deliver. The more they deliver, the more they make. So they're flying all over town on these motorized bikes, and they're not registered, and these guys have no training.
And by the way, half these guys aren't wearing helmets either. And that's a good way to get killed.
And there's no enforcement.
100%.
Yeah, no enforcement.
I mean, they run the lights. There's no enforcement. You're not going to have a crossing guard.
There's barely any enforcement on the southern state. Draw your own conclusions. Right. Although, again, I keep seeing, cops, hanging out there. But again, we'll save that for next week's rant. So, Norm, earlier this week they had Lag BaOmer celebration at Hempstead Lake State Park.
Right.
And you were there with your grandkids.
I was.
And you sent some great pictures. We have them up on our Facebook site.
Right. They had pony rides. They had blow-up things that the kids can jump inside of. They had some people performing. They gave out hamburgers and hot dogs.
Cool.
They charge. It was a donation made to the Chabad, but it was really a nice day. The weather was great, so it was hats off to them and IND.
Yeah, and listen, we really appreciate the fact that Chabad and IND put this together, every year, and it's not easy. But you look at these pictures and you see just full of kids and having a lot of fun,
right? And
it looked like the weather was great, and I'm look forward to covering it next year.
Yep.
Island Harvest Food Drive.
Yep.
Island Harvest annual food drive takes place this Sunday.
Saturday, I believe you have
here. Saturday, sorry.
This is really interesting how they're delivering, how they're picking up.
Yeah, that was the thing that caught me by surprise.
It's a great idea.
I mean, it says that that the letter carriers, you just leave the donations by your mailbox and. Okay, great. But what happens if you leave like a 30-pound box of food? How is the letter carrier gonna take that and do their appointed rounds? It is a great idea. I'm not sure how.
I have no idea how this works.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our letter carriers around West Hempstead, at least, are driving around in trucks.
Yeah,
but
they park.
He parks his car and he's got to walk all the way down the block, and then some guy left, a giant case of black beans or whatever or something sitting there. It's going to be a hefty thing for him to cart around until he gets back to his truck.
But Island Harvest is a great organization.
Tremendous.
So if you have an opportunity to donate, you're encouraged to do so. Couple of quick library events. They're having this drop off at the library through May 22nd. The town of Hempstead is doing this thing in conjunction with Impact Outreach. They're collecting formal wear donations.
Lightly worn.
Lightly worn. And so you can go to I think there's going to be a box by the reference desk. You can go there.
The tuxedo that doesn't fit you anymore or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, some of these prom, dresses and all the accessories are really expensive.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a one-time thing. So if you can get this, stuff, through donation, wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, just a small note, by the way. I saw something online somewhere that a lot of places around the country, they're just not hosting proms anymore.
No.
They're doing really, really low-key stuff because, kids and the families don't have enough money to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this. And so they're doing, simple things at the school gym or whatever. And people, dressing nicely but not going crazy. And this is where the economy hits sometimes.
Right. Definitely don't go to an all-boys school and expect to have a prom.
We got some other events at the library.
Yeah, so there's there's an event taking place Monday, May 11th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Called True Crime: Discovering and Recovering Nazi Looted Art. And you're going to have attorney Raymond Dowd is going to be discussing legal battles involving artwork looted during World War II. It should be fascinating. Actually, I remember at the Young Israel of West Hempstead a couple of years ago for the Yom HaShoah, they had a whole thing about stolen artwork, and it's a sad but interesting subject that's still relevant today because these things haven't been returned to families.
Yeah, you can take a look at, there's a book called Monument Men, I believe it is, or Monuments Men, and they turned it into a Hollywood movie a couple of years ago about the U.S. Army had guys dedicated to go around trying to recover stuff the Nazis had stolen during the war.
Yeah. I think there was a movie.
There was a movie about it. Yeah.
There was also a movie about that painting that was on display in New York for a while. This family that tried to get it back and had to go to court to sue the government to get it. Yeah. But, I think about it all the time that so many hundreds of thousands of Europeans are living in Jewish homes for families that were just, whisked away into oblivion. And there's so much stolen property
all
in
over
every kind of venue.
Yeah. So this all ties into to May being Jewish American Heritage Month, and great. We just appreciate that the library is putting on this event.
Yep.
So
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day coming up on Sunday.
Slightly more cheerful. We'll end to let you know Reester's has all kinds of stuff that you might be looking for Mother's Day. I got this nice Facebook post here with the chocolate dipped strawberries and all kinds of cakes and cookies and things. So if you'd like to recognize Mom with a little something, you can order from Reester's Bakery. It's a little late to be getting anything delivered, but you can always go to ourbakery.com if you're looking for stuff to ship to somebody around the country.
All right, so Dan, Norm, I think that's going to wrap it up for this week in West Hempstead.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, and go to the library and go take out a CD. Have a good week.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Please be sure to visit our sponsors, Spiegel Law PC, Tiffany Dry Cleaners, and Reester's Bakery. To find out more or to reach out to us, come visit us on social media at Facebook and Instagram, or visit our website at westhempsteadecho.com.